Right, does it say Kerbal? It should say Kerbal on the screen. Oh, I haven't got the Kerbal things up. I haven't got the... hang on. Go to projects, and then if I open a new window there, right, and then I haven't got Kerbal projects up. Hang on, let's go back to the placeholder while I'm messing around. Okay, let's go back to the placeholder, get rid of that. Kerbal chat and Kerbal funds tracker. Let's run the funds tracker. Right, then go there. And Kerbal chat. I can bring a command line window for that. And yeah, so much for preparation. The thing is, I got these two Python scripts that run in the background when I play Kerbal. And so if we go back to Kerbal, right, and I go start the server, start. And I can go run by here, run. There we go. Found stream. KSP connected. Right. Yeah, I'm feeling about why our money has not gone up as much. We need a cheaper way of getting into orbit, I think, or more money from contracts. We need better contracts. Right. I was going to make a airplane. So what's the last P we got to? The thing is, I got P's with a dot and P's without a dot. Lots of P's. P121. Let's do P122. P122 should really have a dot. And then we will stick a cockpit there. Stick a cockpit. That will do. We'll have that. Woolly tanks. That's what I'm thinking of, but we're going to turn it on the side. Do something weird this time. Going to do something weird. It'd be nice if that was further down, like if I got angled. That's a monoprop tank. This is not a monoprop tank. We need a fuel tank. Liquid fuel fuselage short. Get the fuel out of there, get the fuel out of there, get the fuel out of there, get the monoprop out of there. And then go for one of these. Get the fuel out, oxidizer out there. I was thinking about a dual something else. It's a little rock engine, it's a little mass. Swivel, what's the one lower than swivel? I'll rely it. Right. What's the Saunders Row SR77 look like? SR.77, that's the thing I'm thinking of. We got the SR177. What was the predecessor to the SR177? It was SR53, that's the one I was thinking of. Saunders Row SR53, there's lovely pictures of it. It's a compound hybrid fighter. It's actually really pretty. It's really pretty. Let's do a search for that. Right. Search what the real one looks like. Right, the real SR53. And there's the photograph of it. I'll bring up the photograph. Right, there's the SR53. If I go to desktop now. Right, there's the SR53. You see, it's got the intakes are up there. Intakes are up there. And it's got a rocket and a jet engine. I believe the jet engine must be on top. If the intakes are up there, jet engine top. I believe the engine was a Rolls-Royce Viper, and it might be a DH Spectre or something rocket engine, and the rocket engine was underneath, so we could use both of them to climb to altitude. It was like a prototype, a proof of concept aircraft. It's really pretty. It's really pretty. It's still around. It's in the museum. And yeah, you had a rocket engine underneath, and I think the jet engine was on top. So it's a Rolls-Royce slash Armstrong Siddeley Vampire. Vampire. What's the engine called? What's the engine called? You know, the one from a Domini and is in loads of aircraft, like a Jet Provost. Viper, wasn't it? It was a Viper. Viper. Right, because Armstrong Siddeley, I think, named their engines after. There's a cat on the desk. Come on, get off my desk. Oh, let me go and give her some treats or something. No, she's been outside. Right, light off. Let's go back. Desktop. Yeah, the SR-53. Right, compound fighter. They had a jet engine and rocket engine. Boop, boop, boop. So we're going to look at something like that. Let's go back to Kerbal. Right. Start podcast. Oh, cryptic. Right, is my microphone on? Hi. Hi. Yeah, I'm just doing a short stream today. I've had a busy couple of days, so I'm now doing some Kerbal. Because I think the last stream I did was... What was it? Derail Valley. Now I'm doing some Kerbal. So, yeah. The idea today is to... Hang on, where's the desktop? If I bring my desktop up... There's the SR-72 one. They had an idea of doing something like this with a compound... Oh, hang on, that's the wrong one. Desktop. Yeah, to have a compound fighter like the SR-53, you know, because it had a jet engine on top and a rocket engine underneath, and that's the sort of thinking I've got with this. I just thought, oh, you could do two. I think my original idea was just have this piece here and at the back of a BAC Lightning, because it's got the engines on top of each other, and then I thought, oh, you could do a compound with a jet and a rocket. So let's just do a compound fighter, just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it. See if it works or not. Compound fighter. I quite like the SR-53. I think it's an aircraft I really like. I'd like to go see it, because the SR-53, it still exists. And I'd like to go see it one day. Okay, let's try something on that. That should be... we'll not use this for yaw, we're using pitch. Okay, I know it's not a lot of elevator, is there? Save this. And we'll stick some wings on it. Goes a delta. So let's see. There's the square piece there. Do. Prefer it that way around. Do something like that. Yeah, it does look cool. At least the prototype aircraft we're basing it on looks cool anyway. Where was it? I think it was like Cosworth, wasn't it? Don't like the way that's flickering there. It really bothers me. Don't like the texture flicker. I want the trailing edge to be straight. A little flicker bothers. If there's a better wing shaping it or longer, I might stop my mass going the other way. Oh, we just have big wings like that. There we go, we just have that. Well, that'll do. Oh, it had straight trailing edges, didn't it? It had straight trailing edges, yes it did. What we'll do... We'll use them for your for roll and pitch. No, because I don't think there's enough elevator surface there. Well, I've got centre of gravity and centre of mass and centre of thrust. Up. Right, it should be fine. So that's fine if it's got no fuel in it. It's pretty hot right now. 98 Fahrenheit. 98. Bloody hell. That's because when I hit 31, because I hit 31 degrees Celsius in my room, and I believe the conversion was about 86, 87. So 37. That's scalding. See, my machine has trouble when it gets, well, it's 28 degrees Celsius here. My machine has trouble when it gets a bit too hot. I'll get thermal shutdowns, you know, because our houses and that are built for to keep the place warm in winter, not really to keep it cool in summer. That's incredibly hot. That's incredibly hot. I mean, I'm warm now and it's 28 degrees Celsius here. What's that? Like 82, 83 Fahrenheit? Hello, Kippy. I remember you from last stream, but I can't remember which stream it was, whether it was a Derail Valley or a Kerbal Space Program one. Oh yeah, you must be Kerbal Space Program. You went on and sent three probes to Moon, Minmus and Kerbin. Nice. Nice, you got 3 probes out there. Comms aerials and actually we could do with another probe outside of Minmus orbit, but with the communications antenna on there. Because I find I lose communications sometimes on the other side of Minmus. Yeah, we've got to stick intakes on this as well. The idea of this is a compound aircraft with both jet and rocket, and just seeing what we can do. There's supposed to be 103 Fahrenheit high this week. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible, Cryptic. That is incredibly hot. I'm gonna have to go down and check on my cat in a bit because she's gone out and the back door's open. Right, we need an intake. We need intakes. Where are the intakes? Flipping intakes. Adjustable ramp radial intake. How does that look? Looks okay. Oh, that's not too bad. We are trying to replicate like an SR-53, and the intakes are up here on an SR-53. You know, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's kind of like an F-107. Yeah, it was a KSP stream. Also, yes, relay satellite behind Minmus would be great. So I include stuff like such as an altimeter in my probes from mods. yeah, getting the communications outside of Minmus is sometimes interesting. Right, get it like that. That'll do. Right, centre of gravity and centre of mass are okay, but this hasn't got any fuel in it at the moment. Yeah, that's another tip if anyone needs it. Yeah, don't build aircraft without any fuel in it. Altimeter scans. Okay. Do we need a way of getting the Kerbals on board and off this thing? Seems a bit too big, doesn't it? But it gives us plenty of clearance for the engines. I know you might think it might be better if we swap the jet and rocket engines, but then the SR-53 we're basing this on has actually got the rocket engine underneath, but then the rocket engine's got a much shorter nozzle than the jet engine on it. Oh, you could stick a nacelle behind here, couldn't we? Talking about temperature, my PC doesn't reach 70 degrees Celsius during gaming. Would you believe it? Oh, it's hard to believe. Maybe got loads of cooling. I mean, I've got an adequate cooler on mine, but I could do with a bit more, especially in the summer. Because it's usually most of the year it's cool here. We don't get a lot of heat, but then this year has been different. It's been cool there, because I know, like over in States, in like Philadelphia and that, they've had a lot of rain this year. Because I watched the weather cameras for the States, and on some states they've had a lot of rain. In Pennsylvania, like the landing gear is supposed to be between the centre of mass and the centre of gravity. So I think that's right. I think that's adequate. Remember, this has got no fuel in it at the moment, so we've got to test it again when there's fuel in it. And there's no monoprop either. That landing gear looks a bit pathetic there, doesn't it? Oh, rain! It's raining. It's raining every other week in Poland. What is that this year? Or yeah, I think. Is that this year? Or in general? This doesn't look like the best design, does it? Because I'm in Wales, it rains like 270 days of the year here. in general, it tends to rain a lot in mid to late summer here. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. We've had a number of rain days, but this year, not very many. Yeah, we tend to have rain at least sometime in the summer, but this year has been a bit warm with lack of rain. I enjoy the hot summers, though. I do enjoy the hot summers. I mean, I can't play games as much, but I can go out more. Right, let's test this with fuel and oxidizer in it. Okay, still more or less the same position, but the centre of gravity has moved quite far forward. I'm pretty sure that rain damaged my internet modem on the roof. I have radio internet. Oh, it's been working for a couple of days now. I have to return it for a while. So no internet. Radio internet. Dang, yeah, it does. Who is it? There is another streamer. He used to stream Kerbal Space Program, but he streams other things now. What's his name? He's on Twitch and has got a wireless connection. And on YouTube, there's Big Clive, who I believe now uses Starlink to do live streams. I'm without a modem or nor router for now. Should we test this? Right. Get in there, Valentina. She's already in there. See? Enthusiastic Kerbal. Right. Save. That will launch. Okay. Put the brakes on. Well. What? Next day. I have to get fibre. There's literally fibre across the street. Yeah. Is that going to be much more expensive for you? Alright, set the trim. Do an F5. Alright. Now if we start the engine, if we do this, activate engine, shut down engine, no, put the throttle down, otherwise we'll have that. Then I should set some keys for this, shouldn't we? So we'll take off on the jet engine like the SR-53, and then start the rocket engine once we're there. Had a couple of wildfires near me. I think, yeah, we've had wildfires up in the highlands, and I can smell the wildfires which are in Wales coming when the smoke's come down here, but they're not near me. They're not near enough to see. We've had wildfires, but you've had ones actually close enough to you, Cryptic, to actually see. Oh, it's still activated. Why is that? Right, F5. Fibre won't be expensive. Installation would be like €45 at most, with 600 megabit plan for €16 a month. I guess that's not too bad. This is not going to hit enough speed, is it? Oh, there you go. We're airborne. Yeah, it's not enough elevator. It's not enough elevator. It's not enough elevator. It's not good at all. I had to live in mostly swampy, humid areas in Poland. I've seen some fires from your front door. That's a bit scary. That's a bit too close for comfort, isn't it? Just loving the USA. Yeah, this thing needs a lot of elevator. Look at that. And 30 degrees C, 85 Fahrenheit, 70% humidity. Sucks to be indoors. Have I got humidity on the screen? Because my humidity is 53 here. Yeah, that sounds really uncomfortable actually. Sounds really uncomfortable. I mean, I'm uncomfortable now at 28 and 53. How high can we get? 33, 34. No, we don't. None of us have, or very few of us. Only the extremely wealthy people have AC. Air conditioning isn't even available in shops. Oh, I could put negative trim on just to keep us going straight. Yeah. Now it's nearing end. It's about 24 and 50. Yeah, is mine actually showing on the screen? Because I put a little display, like a little red dot, to show you how comfortable it is in my room. And yeah, so it's already higher than the red dot for you guys. It's actually, we're too high for aerodynamic control. Look at that. There's no aerodynamic control at all. We're just spinning, like the N104, NF104 when it's flown by one of those pilots that crashed. Was that Jaeger? Sorry, I can't chat today. I have to watch on my phone and do homework in the background. I'll be watching though. Oh, thank you, Real Rocky. I had an interview today. About going back to college. So, yeah, there'll be news on that if anything comes of it. That's why I posted earlier from a picture from the city. I went to the National Museum after I had the interview. Well, I say it's interview, it's a meeting. And I went to the National Museum today, and I posted on my YouTube posts a picture of a moon rock, an actual moon rock that's in the National Museum. Any tips regarding planes? I could do decent rockets. Planes, however. Right, I'll talk about how you do planes in a minute. Well, I'll start with recovering from a spin. Look, we're in a spin at the moment. For a spin, rather than try and pull out of it, instead you push the elevators into the spin in order to make you go faster, and that will put aerodynamic control over the wings and surfaces if you try and turn into the spin. At least that's what's supposed to happen. But I got a feeling our centre of gravity is in the wrong place at the moment. So hang on, because we're not recovering from the spin, are we? So if I do that and then transfer some fuel into the front, where's the fuel transfer? Where's the fuel transfer controls? There's no fuel transfer controls. Oh, great. Valentina may have to jump out because I got a mod here, that one there, which causes the Kerbals to jump out. Right, I'll talk about planes in a minute. I mean, if even if we can get control over this, you're supposed to turn into the spin in order to get control of it, but I don't think we're getting control. No, Valentina's have to jump out. Jump out! Parachute, parachute. Oh no, I cut parachute! The parachute deployed and I cut it! Oh, because... Alright, F9. Flipping heck. Flipping heck. That's... Did you see that then? The parachute deployed and I cut it. Right. Recover vessel. Because that mod I've got, you click it, the Kerbals are meant to jump out and they fire their parachutes. I didn't see a parachute come out, so I thought, all right, I'll click the get parachute, and then right. Anyway, okay. Start again. Let's do some mods. What I think I'll do is I'll increase the get it to use fuel from the rear tank first. That way, the centre of gravity will always stay forward. Right, Kippy. Right. Important things. I've explained this in previous things. This is the thing. You're not the only one. Lots of people ask about this when it comes to aircraft. We have centre of thrust, centre of mass, and the centre of pressure. Right? Centre of mass and centre of pressure. The centre of mass has always got to be in front of the centre of pressure in order for it to be controllable, in order to fly. If these two are out of whack, they're in like extremely different from each other, then your aircraft won't fly, or it will be extremely difficult to fly. In fact, we've got another aircraft I've built that can move its centre of mass further forward and back, and so we can demonstrate that it gets more difficult to fly. I should put that for download somewhere. And yeah, the landing gear has to be between these two. And you also, when you're building an aircraft, try and test it with fuel and without fuel, because the centre of mass will change. And then you can make sure you have enough surfaces. It's usually elevator surfaces. You need a lot of elevator surface. So let's get rid of those and replace it with these. It's always good to have more elevator surface. So that, we will have that to control just pitch, not roll. No, not that. That's better. Save. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this fuel tank and click fuel priority up to 9, right? So it's going to drain from that fuel tank first, so it's going to make sure that the centre of gravity always stays in front. That's what I'm going to do here. See if that makes a difference. Although this didn't really have enough enough pitch control. Explains why my landing gear was so unstable. It wasn't between the two centres. Now some landing gear, like where's the landing gear? Some landing gear have dodgy physics, like the sprung landing gear like that. This actually has dodgy physics as part of Kerbal. It's a bug, and so it doesn't always work. Those don't always work. I haven't had a lot of success with these. They just jump around, it's a bit bouncy. Yeah. And just to keep it controllable on the ground, I activate brakes on the main gear, no brake on the nose gear, and only have the nose gear for steering. That just makes it a little bit easier, but that's not totally necessary. And some real life aircraft do actually have brakes on the nose gear, or it's optional on some aircraft. I believe it was optional on 747s to have a brake on the nose gear, and it might be 777s as well. What else? Yeah, that's the most important thing. Just keep these two in check. These two in check. Just to keep these two in check. Because the aircraft aerodynamically it wants to rotate around the center of pressure, and the gravity the center of mass wants to rotate around here, and essentially what the center of pressure is doing, what the control surface is in, is to push this upwards, push the center of mass upwards. So that's why if you trim positive trim where the elevator's pointing down, then you're stable. If at any point your elevator is trimmed upwards, then there's something you've got a problem there. Now, in real life aircraft, they've got far more movement downwards than upwards for trim. Yeah, the simple landing gear is buggy. I know, it's strange, and there's not much else early game. No, there's not much else early game, no. Crash Test Gobbling. Hello. It'd be nice if there was a skid, a landing skid or something in game. You can land on a landing skid, wouldn't there? That'd be okay. Right, let's try this again. This is not the most easy to fly. It needs loads of elevator, doesn't it? It needed loads of elevator. Just bigger elevators we could put there, elevons. Is there more authority we can do to that? Deploy angle. Put a bit more. See if that makes a difference. Save. Have you seen mods? So yeah, I've seen loads of mods. I try not to use very many mods. I don't use very mods at all. Like this, for instance, what we got in front of us now, it's all stock. I don't like using too many structural mods. I mean, I got a few down here. You can see mods down here. There's not, but I tend not to have many. But there's absolutely loads to choose from. There's absolutely loads to choose from. Right, let's launch this again and see how this flies. I know it might be better if we switched the jet engine, the rocket engine, the other way round. Oh, I didn't set the control groups. Oh, doesn't matter. We'll do it again without it. Right, let's put throttle down. Personally, I like a few parts from procedural parts mods, like the probes, before crew. Yeah, there's loads of mods out there. And on the Discord I'm on, like Linux Guru Gamer, who's a big modder, and he takes mods which have been abandoned. He'll take them on and still develop them or fix them. Linux Guru Gamer, he's got a Twitch channel and a YouTube channel, and he's active on a personal. Not my personal, but somebody else's, a Discord group. Alright, Kip was asking about aircraft. Right, if we look down here, I don't fly with SAS. I don't fly aircraft with SAS. Because the centre of pressure and centre of gravity are in a decent position, or at least this aircraft's not as good as some others, I can fly manually without SAS. And if you look here, I'll set the trim. I'll hold Alt, and I'm flying with the keyboard. Right, I'll hold Alt and hit S, and it'll set the trim. So the trim is set, and you can see the elevator has already moved. See, so I've set trim, so that's just a way of keeping it stable, and you can adjust trim in flight, and this, again, like real aircraft do this, and it's just a way of flying it and keeping it stable in flight. F5. Right, we've shut down that engine, we don't need it. Right. Oh no, I thought I shut down that engine. Right, shut down. There we go. Right, take the brakes off. Right. Do things properly this time, Valentina, and don't hurt yourself. Yeah, it's a bit warm in here tonight. I can feel it. I feel quite warm. I know it's not as warm as you guys. Yeah, this hasn't got a lot of elevator authority, is it? Basically, that's all you need to know with aircraft. That's all you need to know with aircraft. Yeah, oh, this needs more elevator authority, really. Could do with more elevator authority. That means it needs more control surfaces at the back for pitch. And as speed increases, you can decrease the amount of trim. You don't need so much trim as speed increases. So I can start pushing the trim down. You can see the level of trim I've got gone in the corner. So you can, it's perfectly possible to fly without SAS, even with an aircraft that's not that good. I mean, I've got aircraft that fly far better than this. Well, I guess it doesn't help because we're flying on the jet engine. The jet engine is above the centre of gravity, and so it's got a downward pressure on the centre of gravity to push it down, and that doesn't help with the elevator. Yeah, basically that's all you need to know with fixed wing aircraft, and just go through those tips. Centre of pressure and centre of gravity in the right space. Make sure you've got enough elevator trim, and trim, and just trim it properly, and make sure the landing gear is between the centre of pressure and the centre of gravity. Like the centre of thrust at the moment is above the centre of gravity. It doesn't matter so much with fixed wing aircraft. When you're doing rockets, you've got to make sure that the centre of thrust is going through the centre of mass, but that's more to do with rockets than aircraft. See, now the airspeed has gained a little bit, we can decrease the amount of trim. I can fly hands off, and it's perfectly stable. Whether we can land this now, but of course the centre of gravity is moving further forward at the moment. Right, let's do the test with the jet engine, the rocket engine. Just push the trim down. So I'm pushing the trim down to compensate. It's decent speed. Don't want to go into the ground. Controlled flight into terrain. Yeah, don't do that. It's not good on your death certificate. Controlled flight into terrain. Don't do that. Come on, Valentina, you can pull out. You can do this. Yeah, kippy. Have fun playing with the aircraft, and once you master those things, it's really enjoyable just messing around making aircraft. It's really enjoyable. It's really enjoyable just to fly. I mean, I've had a couple of streams in the past where we've just built an aircraft and just flown around the planet and gone places. If you want, there's a mod called Cosmic Serenity for KSP. It adds new 4-star systems where you might want to. I'm not personally interested, but if anyone else wants to see it while watching it live, because it has a copyrighted song. Yeah. Copyright, you've got to be so careful with copyright on YouTube. I believe there was a problem where even the in-game music on Kerbal Space Program was some company tried to claim it. Yeah, you got to be so careful with copyright music on YouTube. Or maybe the mods have got that music from an MP3 or something and can always replace it. I mean, but I don't know how those mods personally work. The mod I made, this one, the escape one, we used it just now when we were crashing. And you click that. It's not available publicly, like, yeah. But you click that, and then it gets the Kerbals on board to jump out and fire their parachute. And another mod I was working on is this one, which is a horizontal situation indicator. So we're heading on 2.7, right? 2.7. On the right way, and it should show us the alignment with the runway. I'm contemplating sending a rover to either of the moons. I think the moon would be more suitable with a stronger gravity. Yeah, I mean, when I got rovers on Minmus, but I haven't had a rover on the moon. And the rovers on Minmus, there's not enough gravity, and it's a bit difficult. It's like you're driving on ice all the time on Minmus. So I think a rover will be more suitable on the moon, to be honest. I haven't had a rover on the moon yet. Right, I'm going to land this thing. The problem with this thing is we're using up so much. The centre of gravity now is quite far forward, and it's gonna be difficult to land this because it needs a lot of elevator trim. Putting the gear down early, aren't we? Maybe a bit too early. Getting a rover to moon would help me to get a ton of science. Yeah, I think it would. I think we've still got science to get on the moon. I've hardly done anything with the moon. All my exploration has been done on Minmus. We could get a rover to the moon, couldn't we? Might need a different lander though. Well, the terrain warnings is another mod that was made by one of my viewers. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. I tried to mute in time. Did I get there? Yeah, the terrain warnings is another mod. It's been made by one of my viewers and he wanted me to test it. Oh, and he made me a nice skin for it as well. That's this one. Yes, and it's got terrain warnings on there. Yeah, what was it? The cat. Is the cat in your profile picture yours? Yes, my cat. Yeah, she jumps on the desk. She will jump on the desks randomly during live streams. She will jump on the desk randomly. Oh, we're a bit short. Come on, can we make it? We're flaring too early, flaring too early. Come on, Valentina, you can do it. Coming in hot. Yeah, it'd be quite expensive. Yeah, if you've got Korea, you're doing Korea, aren't you? So, yeah, it's going to be really expensive to get it to the moon, but you'll have loads and loads of science for it. Doing Korea. Yeah, my crash desktop. Yeah, if you want to see my kitty angle, when we change the scene. There goes my kitty. It's my kitty. She does randomly jump up on the monitor and jump up, and there's sits on the keyboard and wants attention while I'm in the middle of a live stream or doing landing in Kerbal at any time. Yeah, most people have seen my kitty. So sometimes I'll have to go away from the stream just to see what actually she's outside at the moment. I'm going to go down and see if she's in, because I got to close the back door. So if I go back to placeholder, I'm going to be back in a minute. I'll grab a drink of water and see what she's up to. Okay, she just had treats. Yes. Cats because you can get independent cats that do spend more time outside, like a lot of males do that, because they have a large territory. Because cats will patrol their territory, and some cats have a larger territory outside, and they'll want to patrol it. Yeah, cats will patrol their territory every day. But female cats tend to have a smaller territory. It'll just be like a house and a backyard, and they'll patrol just that. That's what my cat does. Oh, sorry, I just had a drink of water. It's repeating on me. 100% value of returned parts. Yeah, we had a cat when I was well, younger, not that much younger, but we had a cat. Actually, it's got to be like 20, 25 years ago. Oh no, less than that, because I was driving 20 years ago. I had a car. Yeah, who went missing for 12 days. She was a black and white cat, Colette. And she came back. I think she was stuck somewhere, to be honest. She was stuck in a shed or something. I was so worried about her. Right, what are we doing? We're going for another aircraft. Where's the one I really like that flies really, really well? We got a lot of aircraft here. Have you considered making a Discord server? I've got a Discord server, but it's private at the moment because I've got private things in there. Then the cat thinks the whole village is his territory. Unfortunately, it's not true, and people around here go harming cats and poisoning them. Must be heart-wrenching. See, I'd be so scared if my cat went outside and dangerous. I know other countries don't have the same sort of level of respect for cats. What am I looking for? Of all the aircraft I've built, this one is the nicest to fly because it just seems really stable. The central gravity and central pressure seem to be perfect. Valentina can do it on her own. Yeah, I turned on my computer just to say I have this really cute outdoor cat named Luna. Used to be Augustine. I think I've told you about her. She was a stray we found, fed, and lives with us. See, the cat distribution system. Because a cat won't stay in a house. If a cat is uncomfortable in a household, a cat will leave. You'll find a lot of the reasons I've seen is because when there's screaming kids in the house, the cat feels unwelcome and the cat will leave. That's something I've seen happen a few times. Because if a cat is uncomfortable in a house, they won't stay there and personally stay out. But my cat was, she was rescued and she was abandoned from a couple of houses and she was feral for 4 months. And yeah, she's in all the time. She follows me around and meows and she always wants attention. A public server separate from your private server would be cool. Yeah, it might do. I was messing around with the server settings the other day, see if I could make it into a private server, a public server. But yeah, maybe I could do a second. Can you do multiple servers on Discord, or can you only have one? I don't know. We pressed F5, didn't we? Right, put the brakes off. Full throttle. Come on, Valentina. See, this is good. This one needs hardly any trim, and it's nice and stable. Bring the throttle down. It's lovely. Lovely to fly. You can have multiple. Okay, I'll look into that. I'll look into that, Cryptic. Okay, make a pass of the island, is it? Right, so where's this? Set that way? Set it that way, isn't it? Set it to 90. Yeah, the HSI, horizontal situation indicator, tells you how far off the track we are relative to our target. So you see how the red line is moving towards the centre? If it passes the centre, we've passed the centre line of the runway. Though it's not relative to the runway, it's relative to the target. And I've stuck a flag at the end of the runway as a target. And this is a mod I've made, it's not public yet. I guess it still needs more work though. Don't know what else I can do to it. I don't. Manual target mode. Need to experiment. Do some more experiments with it. Make sure there's no bugs in it. So although I'm flying at an angle, I know I'm approaching the centre line. Once it's on centre, I know I can turn. I mean, that's if it works. See, obviously there's a problem with it. It's only working when we're pointing towards it, so obviously there's a problem. It's not without its problems, this mod. Yeah, it shouldn't work like that. It shouldn't work like that. Yeah, we're a bit high and a bit fast. Might have to do a go round. Yeah, we need to slow down. Need to slow down. Going too fast. Go around, floating. Okay. Yeah, this got a nice it's got a bay there which you can put stuff in. There's got nothing in there at the moment. Now, I do like flying the aircraft from the cockpit view, but this cockpit hasn't got the best cockpit view. So the bubble canopy one is good for flying from the cockpit. And we did that in a couple of other streams where we did like a really long flying across the planet, going places with the cockpit view from the bubble cockpit. Again, coming in a bit fast. Hello, Jason Palomino. Hello. Long time no see. Yeah, hang on, I'm just concentrating. Concentrating. Don't go around there. Sure, we could stop in time. Boom. Go on, brakes, Valentina. Put your brakes on. Yeah, I can remember you. Just though I can remember your name anyway. I can't always remember everything about what lots of people say because I get lots of chatters in scripts. How are you anyway? How are you tonight? Yeah, the I plane. It's not. There's no AI. There's no AI was used in the making of this aircraft, as far as I know. I plane. Actually, you know, that's reminded me of something, Kippy. You were asking about aircraft earlier. That was a video I was planning. I was planning to do to use Manim. That's an animation library for Python, and I've written a script to explain those, how central pressure and central gravity and the relative, how to make an aircraft and how to fly an aircraft, using the animation library to make a video. That's something I've been planning, but I haven't done much work on it. You know, I could get like Claude to help with the animations or something, couldn't I? I know, I just thought of a funny way to say airplane. I didn't realise I-plane sounds like I-plane, AI plane. AI plane. Can you imagine sticking AI in autopilots for, they're probably planning that already, aren't they? They're probably planning that already. AI help with autopilots. You know, don't just fly the set waypoints, but plan the whole flight. You know, based on like a flight plan will end up becoming a prompt. And the AI just does everything and files the flight plan and fills out the FMC and that. Oh, can you manage that? Can you imagine that? I don't know if that might actually be a good thing. You know, you just write a flight plan as a AI prompt, and then it does everything, fills out the FMC and does all the weight calculations for the pilots. I don't know. That might actually be a good thing. Because there's been times when pilots have accidentally filled in the wrong information on the flight management computer, or got the wrong weights, or there's been times when they filled in the wrong fuel amounts and caused problems. You know, had the wrong fuel or just one mistake on the flight plan or something, or fill in the flight management computer can actually cause problems. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing if AI could, you know, just give them like a text prompt instead of a flight plan, and it does everything for you. You know, give it the aircraft destination and cargo weight, manifest passengers, and get it to work it out. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought. Again, putting the gear down too early. One of the problems when I did have a few flight lessons, when in my teens, flying lessons, I did have a few flying lessons, was the landing. I always used to flare too early. That was my problem. was afraid of touching the ground, hitting the ground. If only AI did the boring stuff for us, but it was successful at reliable. But if it was successful at it reliably, usually it isn't. Yeah, I mean, you've always got to check its workings. You always got to check its workings. You always got to check it, don't you? I mean, I admit I've had help to make these mods, but yeah, a lot of help. But there's still bugs, and I got to go through back and forth saying what the bugs are, because it doesn't always understand how things work. I was thinking about earlier, because I was having a conversation with Gemini earlier, because, you know, ASD going off talking about some subject I like I like cars, for instance, and people would tend to get boring if I talk about cars for 3 hours, but AI doesn't, and actually has a good conversation. And that's actually probably my favourite use of AI, is just talking about a subject I like and actually having proper feedback. You know, Gemini wasn't getting bored when I was just talking about cars, and it was happy to listen and give me, you know, positive feedback. And I did that for 2 hours earlier, just talking about cars. It's just someone who's not bored of listening to me. Whereas if I was trying to talk to someone, you know, a human being about a subject I like, they would just get bored easily or not be interested. Like one of the cars I was talking about is a Roof CTR3, and normal people wouldn't even know what car that is. I actually plan to open up a car repair shop in a few years with my dad and uncle. That sounds awesome, Kippy. We aren't. If only, yeah. That sounds absolutely awesome, Kippy. Yeah, my car needs a bunch of work. Sorry, I just like flying this aircraft. It's just like flying it. I want to go around again. Sounds absolutely awesome. There's a lot of dishonest car garages around, but it'd be nice to have another honest car garage around. Because you can't always tell from the outside. It's like one of the problems we got in here is a lot of, in the UK, or here in Wales anyway, a lot of the car garages are very small, like back street, like in small shed businesses. I mean, a lot of them are legit businesses, but you're not always sure about trusting them. Whereas in the States, you get these massive sheds full of, you know, big companies with hundreds of employees working on cars. I was recently diagnosing and checking an Opel Signum. Oh, like some Vauxhall Signum, yeah. And would you believe I was only getting 5 bars reading at the fuel pump? It barely ran. So was that a replacement fuel pump, or clogged fuel pump or something? Clogged fuel supply or fuel lines? I'm not so much an expert on car maintenance. I just like driving things and collecting things. But yeah, because my car needs a lot of work. Yeah, Signum. So it's like that was like the replacement of a Vectra, wasn't it? Or built on the same platform as a Vectra. Yeah, we're going in a bit fast. That's why we come down here. Yeah, this aircraft's good. It needs hardly any trim. Yeah, we're going a bit fast, going a bit high. Because I got a misfire on my car and it's only intermittent. I may have to go around. I'm not sure if we've got enough runway to go around. Yeah, I'm flying with the keyboard. I do have a wireless game controller, a Logitech F710, but it kept disconnecting and I just got annoyed with it, so I just took it out. Scratch, scratch, scratch. So yes, we replaced the pump. Yeah, when I'm watching the Late Break Show, Johnny Smith, and when he finds a lot of cars which have been abandoned for a long while, that's the one thing that's almost always broken, is the fuel pumps. Yeah, YouTube channel. What cars has everyone got? Does anyone even got a car? Does anyone want to know my car? I've got a whole second channel, an automotive channel. It's linked below somewhere, or it's linked on the main page anyway. We're way too fast and too high. We're gonna have to do another approach. I'm messing up these approaches this evening, aren't I? Got to go further out and do another approach from further out. Opel, Signa, Vectra, they're all the same cars except for the fuel pump is the first to fail in a Z22YH engine. Engine's Ecotech. It's made by GM. Yeah, they're all GM cars, aren't they? But then Opel and Vauxhall now are part of Stellantis, aren't they? They're part of Stellantis. I was going to say PSA then, Stellantis. Because they were all part of GM at one time, weren't they? And Holden and other companies. Or Holden in Australia. Yeah, Opel is most of the world, but what was it? In America, a lot of Opels were released as Saturns, I believe, weren't they? They were released as Saturns in the States. But Saturn is now a defunct brand, I believe, in the States. Holden is still in Australia. Holden used to make their own cars, but now they don't. Now they were just like, or they were GM ones. And now is Holden part of Stellantis now? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, Stellantis, if people don't know, is a company that owns lots of car brands. They Peugeot, Citroën, Jeep, Alfa Romeo, Opel, Vauxhall, I believe it's Holden and all. Fiat, they're all part of Stellantis. Personally, I'm going to get a Peugeot 206. Opel Signum is nice because the engine sucks. Yeah, a lot of GM engines are like that. Peugeot 206. Good little car. Yeah, I got a Toyota Paseo if anyone's interested. I got a rare Toyota. Perfect landing. Okay, it's not that perfect, it's just a smooth landing. Right, let's quit wasting fuel on aircraft. Recover. Wait, what do you play? What do you play on? What's your specs? I need to. My specifications are written in one of the community posts somewhere on YouTube. My what do you want? CPU, GPU? Do you want to know? PC specs. Let me have a look. Let me bring it up. Yeah, my CPU is a 3950, a Ryzen 9 3950, 16 core, 32 thread. It's currently running at 98% power because it's warm in the evenings. I don't want to cause thermal shutdown. Though I do have a decent cooler in here, it's warm in my room. Though, as we've talked tonight, not as warm as some other people's places. The graphics card is an NVIDIA 4060. It's actually an overclocked. It's an MSI card at the moment. It's a 4060. 32 gigabytes of RAM running at CAS 16, I believe, because latency means something to me. Was it CAS 14? CAS 16. And I've got 6 hard drives in my machine because I do a lot of video work, a lot of video editing, and I just need loads of space for stuff. I got my projects and all sorts of things. I do picture photography as well. I got a huge photography thing. Like I got a number of cameras, and I do all my camera editing on here. It's like I got the Adobe account because I used to draw. I've published an art book, and I used to sell cards and merchandise, and I used to do all my own artwork on it. I used to live stream the artwork. There might be still videos below. Well, Razer is a good company for making a gaming laptop, so you could do a lot worse than having a Razer as a gaming laptop. There's a lot of cheap companies that sell, in quotes, gaming laptops, but Razer is a good company to have. I mean, I got a Razer mouse. I've had Razer mouses for years. I mean, well, though the first Razer mouse I had was a Crate, and that was the best Razer mouse I ever had, as a Razer Crate. Ryzen 5 2600, 16 gigabytes of RAM. CL18 used to be 22. MSI Armor 1070. And see, a 1070 is an underrated graphics chip, and they're actually really good. Plenty of storage, and all 512 gigabyte drives. Sounds like a decent machine, to be honest. Sounds like a decent machine. Yeah, a 1070 is a good card. Because, I mean, I ran a 1060 for years, a 1063 gigabyte for years and years and years. How long have I had the 4060? Can't remember. I think I didn't get them too long after it came out. Because that's what I upgraded from, a 1063 gigabyte. Yeah, so we've been seeing aircraft tonight. I want to show you some of our freaky aircraft we've built. I'm just going to show you something else. Where is it? Recovery Phase 4. We got this monstrosity which we've built on stream. Look at this monster, and this flies. Right, okay. Personally, I paid €420 for it all, and yes, everyone forgets about the 1070. It's either a 1080 Ti or a 1060. Yeah, it's true. Everyone forgets about the 70 series graphics card. It's always 1080 or the 90 series now, or the 1060s, and 70s are in the middle, and they're perfectly fine. I'm running a Ryzen 9 7950 and a 4080. Now that is awesome. See, Cryptic's just blown us all out of the water with awesomeness. See, yeah. I could do with more RAM. I know I got 32. I'm saying more RAM, and I know other people are 16 or even 8. I mean, my little Surface Go has just got 4 gigabytes of RAM. And yeah. Because, with Photoshop, for instance, when I use Photoshop, I'm sick of it. It just eats your RAM as if it's nothing. People complain about Chrome tabs eating RAM. Have you ever used Photoshop? It just noms on everything. I won't be getting X3D chips. They're extinct in Europe. Scalpers only. Yeah, this is a bit. It's not a new thing either, Kippy. It's not a new thing either. Because RAM, for instance, we're going back. I've been building computers for, when did I start building on? In the late 90s, mid to late 90s. And it's been hard. It's always harder for us to get computer hardware in Europe. It's like, if you go to Newegg and look at the Newegg States, the United States one, they've got more options of RAM speeds, but also better latencies. And we get worse selection of parts. But if you look, RAM and speeds and RAM latencies are just an obvious thing to look at, because there's a lot of variation between RAM. And in the United States, they tend to get ones which are faster and lower latency than we've got available in Europe. And it's been like that for a long time. And I'm not entirely sure why. People say it's down to the transport network. It's more expensive to transport things, bring things in by ship bring things in by ship and then ship them across Europe. This tends to be more expensive than shipping across the USA. And that's been an excuse for it, but I don't buy that. I think there's more to it than that, because we're talking about, it's not just the prices being higher, we have a lower selection, and it's been like that for a long time. Yeah, it does sound like it's a machine for 3D processing, Cryptic. It does sound like that. If you've got that powerful enough machine. What sort of 3D do you do on there? Only if you want to say. There's no pressure if you don't want to say anything. Because I know people who work on games, the game developers, professional game developers, for instance, and they can't say what they're working on their machines because, it's a professional game developer. I wonder if it'd be beneficial to have a tech company that manufactures in the EU. Yeah, you think that there's that company that Dutch company that actually makes the machines that makes the CPUs, the CPU dies, isn't there? And they're actually built and shipped from the Netherlands, aren't they? I don't know what company it is. Yeah, Europe is just poor in terms of market. No X3D chips in AM4, less variety, and at least power supplies are somewhat good price. Yeah. I mean, I had to replace my power supply a couple of weeks ago. In my community posts, I've got it further down. My power supply died, and I replaced it, I say a couple of weeks ago, about 2 months ago. I had to replace my power supply. Yeah, and I was able to get a decent power supply. Yeah, it's one of the components we can get here. But I think that's just down to different power requirements, for instance, and different. And in the States, they'll have power supplies for like 120 volts, and here we'll have 240, 250 volt power supplies. Right, yeah, this is just a piece of junk we need to deorbit, so we'll just bring this back now. Personally, running a FSP Vita PSU. Vita 1050 watt unit, gold modular for €83. Sounds okay. FSP, I'm not sure. I think I've heard of the company, because a lot of companies like Seasonic, for instance, they actually make power supplies for other company, and they'll put other companies will put their branding on it. I've got a Corsair power supply, but then it was a Corsair power supply that died. I've got is it HX1000, because I had an AX1000 that died, so I replaced it with the more modern version. I take a bunch of drone photos in the hundreds and then turn them into 3D maps for recon. That sounds awesome, Cryptic. That sounds really, really good. That sounds useful, really useful. That sounds awesome. You know what? I want a drone. I've been thought about getting a drone for a long time. I just don't have the cash for it at the moment. Even a cheap one, though. I'm just decreasing the apoapsis to a decent height. Get it around 80. There we go, 81 to 75. Press F5. They actually make PSUs for the quiet. Yeah, a lot of modern PSUs actually shut down their fans. Mine does. Although there's a little dial on the back of mine to not have it shut down. Yeah. Because PSUs in the past used to have some really cheap fans in them, and they would make a lot of racket. And one of my older graphics cards had a dustbuster fan. That was the 5800. They weren't called GTX then. There was 5800 GT. And that was the one that had the terrible fans. NVIDIA said you could only need to put cheap fans on them. So all the manufacturers put cheap fans on them, and they were terrible. I'm also working on making spotlights for drones as well. You're doing a lot of cool stuff, Cryptic. You're jealous of a lot of us who don't have careers or anything. That sounds really cool. Spotlights. So is that like you'd have a spotlight at night and hover? That sounds really, really cool. Yeah, there's a company called Be Quiet in there that makes quiet things. Okay, let's bring this back. It's only an unmanned probe. Oh, status works, by the way. The chat script should be working. So if we type in status, it should show you the status on the screen of whatever is on the screen. See, status report. So anyone can type in status at any time when the Kerbal chat script is running to see the status of what's going on screen. I'm just moving fuel around so we can control the center of gravity as we come back. So you're making PCs since the 2000s. The manufacturers are just as greasy. Yes. Yeah, it's not a new thing. But it's just the greed is supercharged at the moment because it's more profitable to sell RAM and hard drives to AI companies than it is to consumers. And so the prices have just gone ridiculous, more ridiculous than they ever has been. It's like the first motherboard. I think the first motherboard I bought was got to be was it £30-40, maybe £50? Because I used to buy motherboards for less than £50. We're talking about high-end motherboards as well, like my A-bit KX7, and I had the KT7 as well before that, which are decent high-end gaming boards. You could get motherboards now for 10 times that price. Decent gaming motherboards are 10 times that price now. We're talking about £500 or more. It's incredible. It's incredible. I have a couple of old XP machines from school that shut down near you a while ago. So it'd be really cool to get them up and running. Although you won't have any support for Windows operating systems now. There's always Linux distros, and you could do stuff with Linux. In fact, I've been tempted to have a second machine running an AI that I could like have a chat in the channel or something like that. Or because there's chat games which I have considered. I have been experimenting with it. Yeah, motherboards have doubled in price recently. Yeah, they have. They have. Motherboard prices have just gone up exponentially. They've just gone incredible. It's just incredible. Linux, love Linux. I'm not a huge Linux fan, but I know people like it, and I'm not going to criticize it. The data was not wiped at all. School gives lots of work at home and makes me spend less time with my cat. Alas, I must do it right now while watching. Oh yeah, Real Rocky. Oh yeah, you're in college. I'm scrolling. I'm losing track of everyone's chat. Oh, Real Rocky's working on this thing called school. I got an Android phone. I got 4 Android phones on my desk. Let's just ignore that time being. I'm not using X right now because of NVIDIA compatibility. Now, that's a good thing about Kerbal Space Program. It's actually a game that's available on all these platforms. It can do anything. It's available on all these platforms. Yeah, it's raining outside now. I can hear the rain. Right, what I'm aiming to do with this is get it back to the runway. Because it's a career game, we want as much money back from returned parts, and we get them by trying to get stuff back to the runway. Yeah, so sad that AM4 is dying slowly. It's not the time yet for AM4 to die. No, it's not. AM4 has got so much life back in it. No, I don't think they needed to go to AM5 so early. Good thing they got an entry-level AS board for €70. Yeah. There's so much more life in it. I mean, I wanted to upgrade my machine. Like the 5950X will be a good processor for my machine. Will go in my motherboard. But I just can't get them anymore. And that was my original idea, is I can upgrade the RAM and upgrade the motherboards, and now I can't afford it. Cat on desk. There's a cat on desk. There's a cat on the desk. Emergency, we have a cat on the desk. Hang on. I'm stroking my cat. She's right in front. I got to move the keyboard so there's a cat space for a cat to sit. Alright. I'm using Linux Mint with my GTX 1070. It's doing extremely fine. Yeah. What are you going to do, kitty? Going to go in the window? Yeah, that's it. She's gone over. She jumps across my desk to get access to the window, and so she's gone there. So there's no longer a cat on the desk. Good. Okay. All right, let's get this thing on the ground. AM4, I'm sure, is not dying, but my Asus board is €130 now, and the stocks of it are shrinking. There's less and less AM4 stuff. Yeah, there's less and less of it. Yeah, I used to monitor the prices. The price is just too expensive now. Right. We're not going to get 100% for recovered parts on this, because it needs to be on the runway. I had Linux Mint on my laptop. Unfortunately, I fried it. Oh, fried it. Knackered. Yeah, my first laptop died. But it died because solder joints went on one of the USB ports. What do you think of Gen Beta and what would happen to them? I don't know. I don't understand what Gen Beta is. Betamax died a long time ago. Sony Betamax was a rival to VHS cassettes in the 70s and 80s. Is that what you're on about? Well, I see Beta, that's what I think of. Betamax. What are we after? There's another one of those stages in orbit. Where are we going? Where's there it is. I believe this is the other stage. I had a faulty charger and it shorted it out. Got to be careful of those faulty chargers. Yeah, there's another YouTuber and live streamer I watch, Big Clive. Though his live streams were banned on YouTube, and so he's live streaming on Twitch now, but he's still got his channel on YouTube. And he's an electronics expert. He actually works in the field. He works on lighting rigs and that. And he's done a number of videos on faulty chargers. There's so many faulty chargers out there on the market. Faulty electronics chargers and electronics power supplies out there. And he's done a number of videos where he takes them apart and looks at them. Yeah. There's a little song with about a cheap Chinese charger that he's done, and it's on YouTube somewhere. Like Humans Alpha or Gen Z. Gen Beta? I haven't heard of Gen Beta as in Generation Beta. I don't know, because you've got Gen... there's all sorts of gens, and there's some sort of overlap. Millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, and all that. I don't know. Right, 88 by 78. 88 by 78. Can we come back from 88 by 78? We'll try it. We'll try it without lowering the apoapsis, I think. But then again, this is moving that way towards apoapsis. Maybe we should do a lowering of the apoapsis. Okay, get this to rotate around. Excuse me. Okay, let's try and bring this. I wasn't going to do a long stream tonight, but we've already been streaming for 1 hour 49 minutes. Because I had a long day earlier going into the city and doing things in the city. F5, not F4. I'm bringing the topic back, but 2024 was such a great time to build a PC. Yeah, before everything went insane. Yeah, it was. It was. You know, I was in a bad place in my life in 2024, and I still had a bit of money in my pocket, and I wish I spent more money at that point to, get some upgrades to the machine. I did, actually. I upgraded 2 hard drives, but then, I could have done the RAM, I could have done the CPU. Yeah, and now it's just insane. The prices now are ridiculous. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I wish that the market came back to enthusiasts. You've got this other company now from China who's making RAM. Hopefully they can bring decent RAM to market and have it at a lower price point. But then maybe it just all goes back to AI companies. mean, I rebuilt my machine fully in 2020, so it's getting on a bit now. And it's usually about 7 years I keep my machines, but this time it's going to be a lot longer. I built my PC fully around March this year. Yeah, to be absolutely honest, my machine's fine as long as there's no problems like the power supply breaking like happened a few months ago. My machine's fine. I think I'll just keep mine as it is because it's working. I mean, I've got it running at 98% at the moment rather than 100%. And it's fine. PC gaming is so back anyway. I love making stuff with 4th gen Intel CPUs and the whole PC that costs around €90. Yeah. Even older parts are good. I mean, I try to keep a lot of my old computer parts, but I have lost a few of the years and given stuff away as well. It reminded me of one of my old CPUs when I had a Thunderbird CPU. It's like I was running a 1 gigahertz AMD Thunderbird back in the day. This was on the KT7, I believe, which I mentioned earlier, the AMD, the 8-bit KT7 motherboard. And I had an AMD CPU, a Thunderbird, and I was running 1 gigahertz, and I had the opportunity to buy a used 1.4 gigahertz chip, but it had bent pins, so I bought it anyway, and bent the pins back and stuck it in the socket, and it worked, but it was a bit unstable, so I was going to overclock it anyway, so I increased the bus speed from 133 to 140, and suddenly it was stable. It ran at 140 gigahertz bus speed for years. So it ran overclocked for years. It ran overclocked stable, and it was unstable at lower at its stock speeds. I wonder if we can do it early. I wonder if we can switch this around centre of gravity wise early. I used to rock a i7 2600 in 2025. There was a non-overclocked chip. It was never overclocked. Yeah, a lot of modern chips don't really need overclocking because they're reliable enough, but in the past, yeah, overclocking was more of an issue. Because I got it from build where someone cheaped out on the motherboard. Because in reality, all CPUs are underclocked, and I think modern CPUs are closer to their maximum stable clock than in the past. So I think that's one of the things that has changed. Because when you think of binning, like they'll make a CPU on a die and they'll test each CPU and find out, because there's tiny imperfections on the die surface, and you have multiple CPUs which are all the same core, all the same batch, all the same type of CPU, but they'll hit different maximum speeds, and so they'll get binned into different speed brackets, and they'll set resistors on the CPUs so that they can only go to a certain speed, and just so the CPUs are reliable and they can get as much yield and much CPUs they can actually sell from a set batch of CPUs, and so they'll bin them at different speeds, just putting them into different categories or different speed categories, even though they've all got the same core. And in the past, I believe there was more leeway into making. You had more options to overclock. They're like the maximum safe clock and the clock it's shipped at. There was a bigger difference. Whereas now, I think with modern technology, maybe it's that difference is not as much. That's what I suspect. I don't know for sure. That's what I suspect. I have to buy a Z68 or Z77 chipset motherboard and try to see the 2600 can do. And I have to bin it to see how low voltage it can go at standard for 4.5 gigahertz. Yeah. Just keep testing it and see what you can get out of it. Do some stress tests. Oh, it broke again. Oh, it's going to slide downhill. We only get 100% if it's on the slope. If it's not on the slope, we're not going to get 100%. If we recover it before it reaches the bottom of the slope, are we going to get 100% or not? Because I got a feeling we won't get 100% from returned parts if it's on the flat. Right, now, are we going to get 100% from returned parts if that's partly on the slope and partly not? Right, let's recover it and have a look. Hang on, I've been streaming for more than 2 hours, haven't we? My throat's hurting a bit from all the talking. Come on, load. Okay, if we've got parts, but yeah, 100% of value, so we're only just touching the sloped bit and we still got 100% of value. What were we doing before? We got a lander on Minmus, haven't we? One of the problems with Minmus is we got so much stuff on Minmus. When stuff goes into physics range, we go into close range to other stuff out there, it has propensity to explode. This is something that, not ferret, stoat. Stoat is on the surface. So things, it's a bug in Kerbal, whereas when some other vehicles are loaded into the game, when you get close to them, they have a possibility of exploding. It was the funniest thing, I got this i7 2600K for a 8 GB DTR stick in 2025, and it was a good deal. Anyway, I'm planning to build a NAS now. Well, that would be good to have a NAS. See, I got a pile of USB hard drives on my shelf, and I really wish I had a NAS. It'd be really great to have a NAS. You could just turn it on, back up your stuff. Yeah. Right, I got these Kerbals here. What we did last time, we walked around and started picking up some of the flags. So we could pick up some flags. We got that flag there we don't need. We've got a Kerbal over there. We've got to see if that's got enough power to last the night as well. Right, we've got another Kerbal we can get out. Tourist. Oh, we've got 2 tourists aboard. We got 2 tourists aboard. Oh, we're going to have to bring them back. All right, let's bring them back. Let's get them into orbit. I didn't realise we had tourists aboard. Right, we've got fuel on here, haven't we? Anybody else we need to drop off? Well, let's drop off one of the engineers. Hang on. Sarah, Catme. Catme can get out. Catme can get out. I'm going to build on low power AMD platform as Sempron. I haven't heard Sempron in a long time. A chip that barely goes above 10 watts. Yeah, ludicrous 8 cores. Yeah, see, a low power NAS, decrease the amount of voltage on your machine, and it'll be great for a little NAS. Don't need a high clock speed, and just put it all the way down, and you don't have to overclock the RAM or anything. Ideal for old computer parts. There was a flag over there which I wanted to pick up. Right, she hasn't got... Oh, she got a battery aboard. Carrying a battery. Oh, okay, you're carrying a battery. The battery is meant to be for over there. It's too far to walk now. We could walk over there, couldn't we? It's 400 meters. I know. I'd only use the RCS, the backpack, because it's possible to get them into an awkward situation where they can't stop and they just keep floating around Minmus, as in they'll just keep tripping over. So that's why I'm walking the Kerbals. Why would you need speed for a NAS? Exactly, yeah. Just probably 4 gigabytes of RAM. Just need a SATA controller, though. Yeah, speaking of controllers, I got an Intel network card in my machine, because my motherboard, it's a Prime, an Asus Prime, and the older Asus Prime boards, I think, because they've got a ProArt motherboards which are set above the Prime motherboards. I got 2 Asus ProArt monitors, by the way, and that's for my graphics work and the photography in my videos. And my motherboard has got an Intel separate network interface card on it, as well as the network interface card that's part of the North Bridge, or South Bridge rather. And yeah, so I got 2 network cards in my machine, 2 gigabit network cards, but one of them's an Intel, so I've got an AMD motherboard with an AMD chipset with an Intel chip on it for the networking. So I used to use separate SAM cards at one point. I don't at the moment. Right, 300 meters to go, 330 rather. With an Asus Prime and a Ryzen 9, my Asus Prime B4050, and it barely handles my overclocked Ryzen 5. Yeah, what have I got? What have I got? An X570 Pro. Asus Prime X570 Pro. Yeah, because so one good thing about Asus is it tends to be, you can tell which level of, like, they got A, haven't they? They got A and X. Or me saying it's good, I can't even think of it right now. They have different levels of motherboards. They got A and, or am I thinking of chipsets? A and B chipsets, like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, what else are we talking about? We're talking about 250 meters to go for Katmi is heading out. We've already got a Kerbal inside there, and she's carrying a battery, and because she's carrying a battery, I'm going to put the battery on this, because this is a mining rig that didn't have enough power to get through the night, so I brought batteries up, and the Kerbals are carrying batteries. But I got to remember, these Kerbals don't have parachutes on them, so I'd like to give them parachutes if we bring them back to Kerbin. Yeah, A, B, and X chipsets. X is the enthusiast grade, B is a good all-rounder, and A is a budget, most cut down. Yeah, yeah, something like that. A, B, X. But I noticed when I was doing some searches, on motherboards about a month or so, a couple of months ago, the primes are now no longer the top of the line. They're like second. Well, they're always second to the pro gaming motherboards, but now they've got a professional line, which is Pro Art, and that they now have Pro Art motherboards, which sit above prime. You know, no, for business and enthusiast sort of people, not necessarily gamers. Good, so we're getting closer. We're within 150 meters of it. It's got 1, 2, 3 seats on board, so at least you can sit on board. There's one Kerbal on there already. So we've got to attach a battery on it somewhere, and then we'll get her aboard. Right, what time is it? It's 2:07 in the morning, and it's 2:55. Prime is still decent, yeah. I think the motherboards are getting too expensive. Yeah, motherboards are getting too expensive. What next? Power supplies go up? Oh, don't say it. Power supplies are going to go expensive as well. It's all we got left of enthusiast parts that don't cost the earth. At this rate, it'd be lucky to be able to afford an RGB USB string or something. Yeah, something's got to happen. Something's got to happen. We got to. There's got to be a market crash, isn't there? Because I mean, I got my own investments, and I do my investments and calculations every day, and my investments now are higher than they ever have been, and they shouldn't be that high. The market is overvalued, and I'd like to see a crash. And I think that's what will bring prices down. I mean, I don't know when that will happen, if it'll happen even. I can't give you financial advice. You're not supposed to give financial advice unless you're a financial advisor. But yeah, the market's just overvalued. Careful, keep away from the drills. Catme, keep away from the drills. Right now, she's got a battery board. She's got to put the battery somewhere. I'm pretty sure there has to be extreme crash after a long time of hyperinflated prices. Speaking of markets, I hate to use market businessmen where they sell a 1050 Ti for 50 euros just to make back money. Yeah, a lot of salespeople like that. And people say, oh yeah, a lot of people, especially used salespeople, do overvalue things. Because I collect camera lenses, for instance, and there's been times when there's something I want, and people want a ridiculous amount of money for it, and you just got to walk away from the sale. You just got to walk away from the sale saying it's not worth it, and although I'd like it, it's not worth it. I'm not going to pay that money. That's sometimes a hard thing to do when you really want something. It is sometimes a hard thing to do. You know, if something's worth it, and you've got the money, you know, pay it. If it's not worth it, you need the willpower to walk away from a sale. Yeah, I mean, there's a camera in an antique store not far from me, and I've visited the antique store. I do visit it regularly, and the camera is not priced. And they say, oh, if something's not priced, you've got to phone the person who owns the stall and get them to negotiate a price. But I know it's worth no more than £6. And I'm scared to call them, because if I call them and tell them about this camera, I'm interested in this camera, they're going to think, oh, you're interested. I can put the price up more than it's worth, and it's going to put me in an uncomfortable position. So I haven't called them. So I keep going back there to see whether they've put a price on this camera that's in an antique store. Personally, I wait for offers that are still up after months, then lowball them. I've got a ridiculous price. If they've got a ridiculous price. And another thing I do is when I'm walking around car boot sales and I'll see something there, rather than getting the person asking what a price is, I say to the person who's selling, this is car boot sales now, I'll say to them, I'll give you £5 for that camera lens, and say they wanted £20 for it, because I'm a buyer and I've said the price first. It puts the seller on the line, they start thinking, oh, maybe it's not worth the £20, and they'll sell it for a lower price. Maybe they'll say, oh, I was wishing to sell it for 20. What they'll say then is, oh, you can have it for 10. And I've bought a number of lenses like that, where I'll put an offer in before the seller has said a price. And I've bought a number of lenses that way. Where am I looking? We're switching things. We need to get these tourists back. Right, I shut down these engines, didn't we, last time? Yes. No, the engines are still activated, aren't they? Yes. Right. F5, let's get these tourists back. We've got 2 tourists, we've got an engineer aboard. Personally, wait for offers that are still up after months. Yeah, I'm just reading your texts. Yeah, just reading text, the chat. Where's the tug? Where's the tug? There it is. It's tug. I'm getting a bit tired now. What time has it been streamed for? 2 hours 16 minutes. Yeah, the last couple of streams I've done have been going on for 3 hours 30 minutes, so I'll aim for no more than that. I want to try and get these Kerbals back because I don't want to leave tourists in orbit and forget about them because they're actually tourists and they didn't even want to land on Minmus. Does anyone else like cameras? Because I like cameras. I like camera equipment. So one of my dream cameras is coming out in the autumn. Oh, you're going to sleep, you Kippy? All right, thank you for joining us. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for chatting. All right, enjoy your nap. I'm tired now. I don't want to be streaming for that much longer. I'm a bit hungry. Let me turn my light on, see what my cat is. Yeah, my cat is asleep in the window. She's got a little mat in the window, and so she's asleep. I could do with a drink, actually. I could do with a drink. Let's get these Kerbals to the tug. The Kerbals are in orbit. Oh, before I go, yeah, I'm interested in cameras. They're just another expensive hobby. They are another expensive hobby to add on to computers and audio systems. Yeah, they are another expensive hobby. Like I mentioned, one of my favourite cameras that I hardly use due to its age and antiqueness is I've got a 1949 Agfa folder, and I got it from the antiques thing, and they wanted about £60 for it, and I negotiated them down to 45. Is what I got. Well, I think it's 46 actually where I got it. So yeah, my wallet hates my hobbies. Yeah, your wallet hates your hobbies. Yeah, same me as well. Gotta go. Good night, Kippy. Thanks for chatting. Oh, my back hurts. Stretch. Getting older. Yeah. I level up in age on Saturday if anyone's interested. Where's this? Where's the tug? Set this target. Okay, if no one's chatting, I might mute and put the podcast I was listening to back on. Okay. My throat hurts anyway. I've done a lot of talking tonight. But if anyone asks a question or something in chat, I'll mention something, but I'll mute for the time being, okay? Good thing your parents pay for your hobbies. Yeah, it is real rocky. Nice to have understanding parents. Although if I had a child who was interested in computers and cameras, I would pay for stuff for them. I would. Well, I'd share everything with them if I had a child who was interested in the same hobbies. Okay. Your parents have to pay. Hang on. Good thing I can't legally make money, meaning they have to pay for it. If you've got a barrier there, yeah. What are we doing? We're moving these Kerbals around. Warp to there. Relative to target. Retrograde. Where's our target? There. Oh, that's why. Okay. Well, I didn't want to pry. I didn't want to pry real Rocky. So that's why. Is there age limits on what you can buy, like electronics goods? And I never even thought about if there was such a thing here, like like a restriction on your age for buying electronics goods. I never even thought if there would be such a thing. I guess maybe there could be. But 3 more years, by the way, America is only have to be 13 to use YouTube. Yeah, you got to use YouTube and that. There's age restrictions on YouTube and Twitch and a lot of platforms. Concentrate, concentrate. Is my microphone? Yeah, my microphone's still on. I was judiciously muting it to listen to things on the other monitor. Okay, let's get these Kerbals back. Is there a Kerbal on here as well? Right, if we move this Kerbal, transfer. No crew. There's no crew on there. It must be one of the other tugs has got a Kerbal on it. Oh, right. I thought we had a Kerbal on one of these tugs. F5. Right, let's move the fuel from here to the other, to the tug. We've got to shut down those engines. Oh, that's already got fuel in it. That's already got fuel in it. This isn't the same tug we moved them out here in, is it? We got, look, where's all this fuel come from? Okay, all right, fine. That's not the same tug they come out here with. I think that's one we landed before, isn't it? Have you made shuttles before? Highly recommend doing that. It's super fun once you get it down. I haven't. I've made a space plane that is launched vertically and lands horizontally, and we've used that on stream, but I haven't made a shuttle that can take off itself, or a space plane that can take off horizontally. I haven't done that, and due to the engine restrictions to only use realistic engines in game, realistic stock engines in game, I think making a space plane would be really difficult, but it's something we can tackle in future. Right, let's bring these Kerbals back. Right, periapsis is 33 there. 33, 26, 22, 21, 22, 21. 21.4, that'll do. Right there. Space boats. So it's like cutting out the middle person. Like we've got the boat that goes and picks up stages from the water, which I haven't done in a while on stream, and you cut out the middle person and just take the whole stage back. Because I don't know if you, I think you've seen our streams, haven't you, Real Rocky? Where if we have a stage lands in the water, we'll take a boat out and go and pick it up and bring it back. I didn't consider that, having something that could propel itself through the water, actually have a rocket stage propel itself through the water. last 10 problems, last 10 maths problems, and then free time. So maths is hard, isn't it? Math problems. Mind you, I haven't done hard maths for a long time. Probably, you obviously know far more than me, and it's more of a it's what you're learning, isn't it? It's what you're doing. See, I can do maths, but I'm very, very slow at it. Slow at it. Like when I was in school, I was in the higher maths class, but I could never compete at the same level as other people. Although I was able to maintain my position in a higher maths class, but I was always slower than everyone. I think I could do with everything, but I was always much slower. I think that's the ASD where I just, rather than try and use the math frameworks that were I'd never seem to learn everything at the same pace as other people, and rather than use frameworks, instead I'll work everything out from raw myself, like counting, rather than working the methods out, rather than say times tables, for instance. I would rather work out what something times something is, rather than just memorizing the whole table and work it out on the fly. I think it's just a way of, I found maths really difficult because of that. It's just the way I preferred to do it. Anyway, I'm tired now, so I'm considering ending the stream right now. But then I kind of want to get these Kerbals back because I'm tired. But then it'd be nice to have these Kerbals back. I mean, they're two tourists on board, and we're going to leave them in orbit. And if I forget about them in orbit now, I forget about them in orbit once already, and I don't do it again. So it's the Stoat. If we get them down to 100, say, and then we'll bring the other stage up to bring them back. We're not going to dock them to the station. I was just using the station Cafe Alpha just to get the right inclination. And set target. Up here. Okay, let me cue something else to listen to a sec. That's 42 minutes. I don't need them. 1 hour, 55 minutes, 47 minutes. Things. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna just go and stretch my legs for a bit and have a drink. We got the last bit we got to do in Kerbal is to get those Kerbals back. So I'll just leave Kerbal on for the time being. I'll be back in a minute. I'm just get a drink of water and stretch for a bit. Okay. Yeah, I've been streaming for 2 hours 56 minutes. So these Kerbals, putting you on the second monitor and starting KSP. Oh, you finished? You finished your work, Real Rocky? Hi, KSP. Right, have a little break. Right, let's get these Kerbals. Let's find these Kerbals. Kerbal Adventures. See, you can tell how tired I am. I'm operating the throttle, but the engine is not even activated. And I'm wondering, why isn't it working? I made a Soyuz replica, a cool Soyuz replica. I'm going to try and use it a lot. Cool, cool. Soyuz replica. Wonder if that'll be cheaper than what the sort of rockets we're using. I'm actually going to try and probably make a lot of real rockets on this save. Now, Soyuz is cool. Have the 4 boosters all separate at the same time in the cross. So it looks really cool. What was it? Korolev cross, isn't it? Coolest feature of Soyuz rocket. Because you've got the center booster is slightly smaller than the upper bit, isn't it? And then you've got the rockets on the outside. One of the things about Soyuz, though, the real Soyuz, is the main engines tend to be fixed, isn't it? And then you've got these small engines at the side that are like small nozzles, and they provide the pitch and roll control, isn't it? Something like that. There's like a 5th nozzle on the bottom of each booster that provides roll and pitch control. And we can't really simulate that in Kerbal, can we? Oh, Saturn V and Skylab. Yeah. Awesome. Sat5 is built accurately. Hang on, Sat5 if built accurately has go over 1,000 meters a second if the payload is what it's got to get to the moon. Otherwise, it's only 8,000. We ran out of power. I guess we could still use the... Ran out of power. There's no SAS. Oh no, 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 no! It's cool. Don't. Oh, the Kerbal's okay. The Kerbals are okay. There's only 3 Kerbals aboard, so they're safe. They're safe. Right, safe. So fuel tank crashed. Yeah, thank goodness they're all right. Right, they're both crew modules survived anyway. Both crew modules survived. So if there were Kerbals in the other one, they would have survived anyway. I'm glad they survived. Panic is a panic then. So we had no power, so we couldn't just nudge it over a bit so it landed horizontally. Anyway, the Kerbals are back, so we've been streaming for 3 hours 22 minutes, and so we did the full 3 hours 30 almost. Yeah, so we'll get the contract for those Kerbals. There you go. The Kerbals are back. They spent a long time on Minmus. We didn't get 100% parts, 97.9% of parts. Okay, 2 Kerbals, 3 Kerbals back. She gained XP but didn't go up a rank. Sarah Kerman. Okay then, Real Rocky. I'm gonna take a break. I think we've been streaming for 3 hours 30. I'm gonna leave it here. So it's currently 4:11 in the morning. So let me scroll up and see who chatted tonight. There's a few chatters tonight. Real Rocky. We had a long. Kippy was here. Kippy was here for a long chat. Crash Test Goblin was here. Cryptic was scrolling up. Hopefully I haven't missed any. I chatted in chat. Yes, it was a good one tonight. We had a long chat. I was just scrolling up. Yeah, I'm amazed how many people were chatting tonight. Yeah, all right. Thanks for being here, Real Rocky. And it's time to go.